name's Owen, and I'm the Dungeon Master of our Return of the Giants 5th edition homebrew campaign.
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm playing Lyra, the Eladrin Spore Druid, and she is just a little bit obsessed with mushrooms.
Hi, my name's Simon. I'm playing the character of Ember. I'm a wildfire druid who's on a quest to be the very best there ever was.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I play Harry Harrington, the Harrengon, the roguish merchant with the heart of gold.
My name is Christian. I'm playing Bartholomew, the romantic dancing Owlin, Paladin of devotion.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I'll be playing Niles Silverwind, the Owlin, Way of the Sympathy Monk.
Hey guys, I'm Jared. I play the character of Thrain, the boisterous frost giant, the Goliath, path of the giant barbarian.
Hello there, lovely listener. This is just a warning to let you know that this episode of Return of the Giants may contain adult language or adult themes. Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome back. It is wonderful to see all of your gorgeous faces once again. We are back. We are playing the premier homebrew Dungeons and Dragons campaign, Return of the Giants, that you can catch live right here, twitch.tv/The Lost Archives, or recorded on YouTube at The Lost Archives D&D, or any podcast platform of your choosing. Literally anyone. We should be on all of them. If we're not, please let me know, and I will make sure that we are. We are back tonight with a very, very exciting episode. We left on a, not like a dramatic cliffhanger per se. We've been diving into more of the giant dreams as the party explore the relationship with the fire giants. So we ended on a bit of a cliffhanger there in terms of like a lore cliffhanger, a cliff lore hanger, if you will. And so we will be diving in with that very, very shortly. The only fun announcements I have to share behind the scenes before we start. Massive thank you to those who've continued to watch the Baldur's Gate 3 Bards of the Bone playthrough. It's been very, very fun. We did the second half of the Village the other day, which will be coming out on Friday, for those of you watching on live. For those of you watching recorded, it's already out. You can go watch it now. Obviously, when you're dealing with Ketheric Thorm's children, there are ways to deal with them in a violent manner, but we're playing all bards. So we did the talky talk option, and it is quite satisfying. Just talking people into death. Just very entertaining. We've had a number of vicious mockery kills now, which is, we've got a little counter of that we've got in the background, which I think is quite fun. It's been very entertaining. Bard is the ultimate Baldur's Gate 3 subclass, and a class and subclass. Never going to convince me otherwise. It's just the way the game was meant to be played. We are probably reaching the end of Act 2, which means that Act 3 is coming up. Probably my favorite act in Baldur's Gate 3, so very, very excited to dive into that shortly as well. Other fun news, I'll be picking up my Switch 2 tomorrow, so I will do a little bit of a Mario Kart playthrough if I have a spare moment and just jump online and do a little bit of Mario Kart. I want to do a bit of an explorer of the open world stuff. But to be perfectly honest, what I'm most excited for is replaying Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild with the updated graphics and with the Zelda Notes app. Have you guys seen the Zelda Notes app? Have you seen anything about that? It's really interesting. So it's like a whole like phone companion app through the Nintendo thing that gives you like a whole extra level of like guided voice parts of quests, like a voiceover and narrator for some of the quests, and also like hidden memories and things. And for Tears of the Kingdom, you can share your auto build to other people, and so you can download and upload auto build creations, which is really cool. So I'm really excited for that. That'll be super fun, because there are people out there who made like hyper efficient flying machines and things like that, and like I could follow the video tutorials to make it myself, but it was always like listing a bit to the side. I don't know, like I didn't have the patience or the like, yeah, no, it's patience. It's just patience. I didn't have the patience to sit there and make it like 20 times until I got it perfectly lined up. So having someone else make it for me would be pretty sick. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah,
nice.
And I hear Pokemon Violet and Pokemon Scarlet run uber well on the Switch too. I saw some video gameplay of that drop, and it looks like a whole different game. So I was pretty excited for that.
There you go.
I remember the other thing. Have you guys seen the Witcher 4 tech demo yet that came out this morning?
I have, with the Unreal Engine.
Oh,
baby.
Oh my fucking God. After you've finished watching this, or if you're watching this recorded, go watch it. Come back. It's only like 5-6 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It is stunning. I look, I know obviously by the time the game comes out, some things will have been pared back. Like a lot of the stuff you see probably won't make it into the final game, but holy shit, if even like 30% of what we saw in that tech demo is there in The Witcher 4, The Witcher 4 is going to be probably my favorite game just of all time. It just looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Like the NPC interactions, I think that's what I was most impressed with. Like the NPCs all react to each other and to the world, and so you have these like this cascade of things happen. So like, yeah, go watch it. It's really cool. For those of you who are playing.
Frame rate though.
No, the frame rate looks really good. So what they're showing is on a PS5, and it was flawless. Now, to be fair, it's a vertical slice, right? So we'd expect it to be flawless, but I saw no stuttering, no artifacts. It was absolutely perfect. So on a PC, I'm imagining it's going to be easy as. And that was at 60 FPS. I know, Dave's looking at me like I'm a madman, but I swear this is what they said.
I'm watching it right now and it's stuttering, but maybe it's just my feed.
Oh, it could be the internet, because there was no stuttering when I was watching it on the video.
Okay. I'll watch it
Oh,
again.
are you watching the IGN one? Because the IGN one, they like screen grabbed
I'm
it.
watching the official Witcher one.
Okay, good. Yeah, good. That's the right one to watch. The IGN one also stops before the actual interesting shit for some reason. I don't know why. Fucking IGN, man. Yeah. But no, super hyped for that. So definitely go watch the Witcher 4 tech demo. It looks awesome. And I'm so excited to play Ciri as a Witcher. I'm stoked for that. Because if you're a fan of the books, you've been wanting more Ciri stuff in the games this whole time. Because Ciri's she's the main character in the books, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. So I'm mega hyped. Looks great. And the Witcher...
Ciri as a character too, like just very, very compelling. And it would be great to translate that into a video game.
And the Witcher ending for her in The Witcher 3 was always like my favorite one, where she like went and became a Witcher. That was always like, the Empress ending for her is like, I don't know. I feel like that's the worst one for her. Well, no, sorry, dying and the whole world freezing. Like becoming Niflheim is objectively the worst. yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Very fair. Yeah. But I always felt like the Empress ending was really shit for her. Like she doesn't get what she wants. Yeah. So no, super stoked. Cannot wait for that. Obviously, I'll do a full playthrough of that. It's gonna be fucking awesome. I'll be so stoked for that. We did a Witcher 3 playthrough a while ago. So we should do a Witcher 4 one for sure.
100%.
Awesome. I don't think I've got anything else fun to share. Any fun behind the scenes stuff to share? I did see that there's an Unearthed Arcana for the Psionic class for D&D, but I don't know. Have you guys had a chance to read through it?
I've glanced over it and it's it's not great.
I can see what they're going for, but the execution, I don't know. I feel like the flavor's missing. You know how like a lot of classes have a really strong kind of flavor identity.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like they've captured it for the psionics. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh.
I need to have it's something that other subclasses sort of delve into themselves anyway. Like,
yeah.
So it doesn't feel very unique in terms of a subclass.
Maybe that's my complaint, because it's kind of the same complaint I have for rangers sometimes, where like the ranger is like, oh, here's your rogue subclass, and here's your like, I don't know. Maybe that's the same thing. Maybe I feel like it needs to be more unique. It could be that, but I can kind of see what they're going for, but I don't know. It doesn't feel fun.
I need to read over it again, but my initial thought was like, it's kind of what a Gish would be anyway. So it's like kind of like an Arcane Trickster or an Eldritch Knight, or like any of those subclasses where they kind of delve into, using magic, but not really. It's kind of like that, where it's you're just basically this class, but different, right?
I couldn't help but read it and think I'd rather be a Hexblade Warlock, the old Hexblade Warlock, or I'd rather be a Blade Singer Wizard, or I'd rather be... you're right. I think you might be onto something. Maybe that's what it was. I kept reading it and being like, but I wouldn't play this. I would play the Hexblade.
I think it's a step in the right direction, though, because not releasing any new classes in such a long time does make it a little stagnant. Some classes can only go so far, and
100%.
I having run some campaigns in the Underdark, psionic powers is something that's already prevalent, and as we've said, so many subclasses and so many races in D&D. Like, it fits into the world so nicely that it doesn't feel like suddenly there's this new thing that's existed the whole time that you didn't realize about. Like, it definitely might have been done better. I haven't had a look at it, but I think...
I'm surprised they didn't take some inspiration from Baldur's Gate 3 with the Illithid powers. Like, you've kind of got a fairly interesting psionic vibe going there. I'm surprised, given how popular Baldur's Gate 3 is.
Yeah.
Although, I think also that relationship might have soured a bit, so maybe that's why.
Oh, also not D&D related, but like what's been going on. We were just talking about The Witcher, and just a side topic, and I guess Twitch chat could possibly answer their own answers. At my workplace, I joined a gaming group chat that is in the our commission, and everyone was typing, answering this thread, which was which gaming world you would choose to live in if you could be teleported there and then have to live there permanently. And everyone's answers were all these fucked up places. Like one of them was the Witcher world, and I'm like, bro, it's just nonsense. Everyone will kill you.
In their minds, they're like, they're Geralt. It's like, no, you're not.
One dude was
Even
like,
if you are a Witcher, it's so dangerous.
Yeah. Do you know how Geralt dies in the books? Do you know how Geralt dies in the books? A boy with a pitchfork gets him in the stomach during a pogrom and he dies. That's how he dies in the books.
Start the first Witcher 1 game shortly after that.
So,
yeah.
I said Pokemon because there's very little depth, and I get to own a cool thing.
Yep.
Except for the war that happened 20 years ago that they.
Oh yeah, true. The ultimate weapon that was unleashed. Yeah. That's a good point. And the fact that the Mafia, Team Rocket, control everything. That's also not great.
You go the Pokemon manga.
You're an independent person and you can go off on your own. That's like the dream.
That's also
the Pokemon manga elaborates on this. So like 4 of the original gym leaders were all like Team Rocket Goonies, along with Giovanni, and every single Elite 4 were also criminals.
Yeah,
it was wild. It was so wild.
You just throw like 6 Pokeballs into battle at the same time as well.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Surge was like a crony for the Rocket.
Yeah,
Mafia.
that's right.
Wild.
It's crazy stuff. Yeah, what world would you pick? That's a great one. I think let's have a think about it. And yeah, type it in chat. What game world would you be happy to jump into? I think I know my answer, and it's going to be a bit contentious. I reckon Animal Crossing.
I was just about to say that.
I was going to say Stardew Valley.
Island.
Although then I'm stuck with a giant mortgage that I can only pay off by like scrounging fucking fossils. Like seems too real. Seems way too real.
Even Stardew Valley, there is a element of risk. If I decide to go to the mines, I might get fucked up by like a fucking worm or some shit, you know?
Super Smash Brothers Brawl. I'm immortal.
Just keep coming back on a platform.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true. Maybe not. I have to think about this. That's a tough question. There's
Unless Master Hand comes and just like plucks you out of the world indefinitely, because that would be no good.
That's true.
Oh.
There's a lot I'd like Master Hand to do to me, though that's not one of them. Awesome. Let's start the session and let's dive on in. I thought that'd be a really good.
I was going to say on that note, Owen, there's a lot of porn games on Steam, so there's a lot of worlds.
Dave's like Doki Doki Literature Club. I want to live in there.
Let's go.
Oh, amazing. Harvest Moon, also good. Dragon Quest. I reckon Dragon Quest would be pretty fun.
Depends which one.
Depends which one. Sentinels of the Starry Sky. 11?
Beastie Ball. I think that would be good fun.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter. Yeah. I don't know if I'd do Monster Hunter.
I feel like there's a couple that are like off limits, like 40k. Warhammer 40k.
Oh no!
That would just be...
No. Absolutely not. Welcome to the Imperium of Man. You are now a servitor. Please hold still while we lobotomize you.
Yeah, you don't want to be in that universe. It'd be horrifying.
Or you're eaten by Tyranids. It's just, that's it. There's only two options.
I'd rather be eaten by Tyranids than be turned into a servitor. Floating skull for indefinitely. Yeah.
Oh my god. Let's do our recap. Let's jump into the session. I will get us in. I've got a cut down recap because I want to just get straight in, be snappy. The Tempest Adventuring Guild, a name now legendary across the lands of Nostea, is taking on the threat posed by the return of the Giants. Lyra, Niles, Harry, Ember, Thrain, and Bartholomew have sailed across the waves to the Shattered Isles, making their way to the site of a volcanic eruption. The group have joined Maloran Orc sailors Mac and Setu and their Triton companion Rilia, denizens of the floating city of Seastride. Travelling on the Orcs raft toward the town of Heatmeave, the team was surprised to find the town completely abandoned, the evacuation having only begun the prior night. Exploring the town, the team faced off against ash mephits and cinder zombies, the only creatures seemingly left alive inside the village. Well, alive, ? On that. With the last of the zombies falling to their magic, the team then focused their attention on further investigations. Ember, noting the ash smelt like it was contaminated with something. Suspecting either devilish involvement or something similar, the team decided to make their way to the church where Niles and Bart thought they might have seen signs of survivors. Arriving at the grounds, the metal fencing showed signs of heat damage, but inside the borders of the temple, the ashfall seemed lighter, the clouds above more sparse. Peeking in through the windows, the team could spy the outlines of several people inside, bowed in prayer, but a closer examination revealed all had perished, succumbing to a poisonous gas still lingering inside the chapel. Further exploration revealed that the priest of this church had attempted to protect the town from the noxious fumes released from the volcano using a complicated magic ritual, but the spell had gone wrong, filling the church with the concentrated fumes instead. With the ritual interrupted by the team, the noxious gases began to flow freely through the town once again, driving them back to the docks, the air growing harder to breathe and the ash falling faster. Regrouping with the Maloran orcs and their Triton companion, the group sped over the ocean toward the foothill of the volcanic island, skirting the edge of the falling ash and staying upwind of the toxic air. With the boat now beached on the black sand, the party could spy a large archway embossed with a chromatic metal set into the side of the volcano's base. The team briefly discussed their options, Figment revealing he could potentially trigger a giant dream to show the party the events of the past that might have led to these events. The team pushed the enormous doors aside and began to enter the dark corridor beyond, a roar echoing through the hallway. Suitably spooked, the team took a slower approach into the tunnels, eventually finding a branching passageway off the main hallway leading to a storage hall, which seemed a safe place to rest. Settling down and hidden behind a wall of stone shaped by Lyra's magic, the team entered another giant dream, this one starting sometime after the signing of the Althing Treaty. Met by Lady Surta, leader of the Fire Giants, the team were guided deep into the heart of a chain of volcanoes and the hidden forges at the center. But this was not their final destination. Instead, a hidden passageway opening to reveal a vast chamber, a metal hexagonal platform suspended above a lake of lava. At the edge of each of the platform, at the edges of each of the platform, you can see vast metal rings being assembled by a team of fire giant forge masters, the rings closely resembling the structure the team had seen at the peak of the volcano in the present day. And that is where we left off last session, which means we are jumping straight back in. You are all in the guise of your fire giant echoes, these ancient memories and personalities reliving the events of the past, guided by your hand and by your thoughts. At the moment, you are on an enormous floating disc. Underneath, pulses of this almost strange, phasing blue energy providing lift and thrust, allowing this platform to hover and move freely in the air as it has descended below the area of the railing. And as you look below you, you can see a similar force holding aloft this massive hexagonal structure. The lava below burns and boils, roiling on the surface as bubbles rise and burst, sections of darker rock concentrated, the whole room lit by this warm orange glow. But the heat seems far less than you would have expected, and you can see at the edge of the platform you're standing on this almost heat shimmer like haze, holding back the temperatures inside this volcano. On the platform, you can see 12 fire giant forge masters dressed in this beautiful, intricate overlocking armor, very heavy, very deep set dark metal, giving them almost this construct-like appearance. But you can see fire giants underneath, their hair or beards emerging from the gaps in the armor and heat shimmering off their bodies as they assemble this enormous ring. 2 of the rings are completely finished. You can see that they are hovering in space, slowly rotating every so often, seemingly just hovering under their own power, maybe? You're not sure. But you watch as the giants finish off another ring. Sections sliding in, the seams glowing with a sudden burst of flame before sealing shut, making it almost look like one continuous piece of metal. The ring has these jagged sections emerging from it, almost like a vast crown turned on its side, and you can see gemstones set in on the inner sections of it at regular intervals, series of thin filaments of wire bound into the center of this vast ring. As you look down on the platform, you can see that 2 of the rings are fully completed. 1 of them is still in the process of being finished. But as you watch, the final pieces are placed in, the seams burning to light with fire at their core before sealing away completely. And that is what you see as you look down at the platform. I hand over to all of you.
Yeah, look, Ettringer, I'm liking to think that maybe there's some sort of a connection with Ettringer and Stilta, or I don't know, something more than just the alliance, building a bit of a bond with the characters. In the past here, like how the relationship came, maybe why Ettringer is so interested in the surface world, other than just being here to support Utnir, obviously the heir of the stone giants. But there is still curiosity at what they're doing, even though we've been known about it. This is the first time seeing it, and Ettringer being a paladin, anything new, anything wary. Stone giants are specifically being, as far as I'm aware, a little slower and a little bit more cautious. Is going to do a divine sense just to make sure there's no shenanigans up here with what's happening.
I think that's a very good idea.
The new stuff.
Yeah. As you activate the divine sense, the pulse that emerges out from you feels similar to what you are able to summon when you are using your paladin powers, but there's an intensity, a rawness to the magic, almost like a wildness to it. And as the weave responds, as you feel this pulse of divine energy move out from you, you do not sense any fey, fiend, celestial, or undead anywhere near you.
It's less about the creatures.
More the
forge itself.
Yeah,
does it classify as or desecrated?
No, there's no sense of any influence, divine or devilish. Feels
okay. Look, that's
there's
a
no
good
response
thing.
at all. Yeah.
We're still left in the dark, but it's better than knowing that the fire giants built a demonic portal to hell.
Here's our blender. We feed the souls to it to power our infernal machines. No, it doesn't seem to be that. It doesn't seem to be that at all.
Okay. Look, Ettringer will just keep letting Silta lead the, tour?
Yeah, I guess in a way, kind of is a bit of a tour. Yeah, Lady Suta.
Yeah, I guess it's like, is she just sort of chatting away, or are we just standing on the platform observing? Like, what is the...
At the moment, you watch as she turns away from the enormous platform below you, instead turning back to look at all of you and judge your faces very carefully, one by one, looking for a reaction, almost.
Okay.
And as you sort of turn to see what she's looking at, you watch as she catches your eye. Very well. Seems that you have noticed below you. I would love to draw your attention to what we have been working on down here. Welcome to the Forge. This is the central point right now above us. The ocean sits where moments ago you were standing out looking over the now filled caldera. This is the ancient volcano that lies dormant underneath the waves. And as you can see, we have been turning its heat, its fire to our purposes. The rings before you look familiar? Some of you seem to be recognizing the design. It is based upon the teleportation magic, the planar magic, that our cloud and storm giant friends have worked so hard to create. But whereas those portals allowed for transport to and from, for beings, for creatures, for anything to pass through, these portals only siphon one thing in one direction: energy. And our plan is to tie them to each of the elemental planes, that we may draw upon the primordial fire, primordial air, the primordial water, that we may pull the elements, the energy of the elements through, bend them to our very will, a limitless supply, a fuel of magic, of resources.
Quite intuitive.
Just the energy, or the material as well?
This should just pull the energy through, allow for transfer of the magic that makes up these planes, the chaotic, wild, elemental energy of each one. I must admit, understanding the nature of the weave and its permutations is not an area of expertise for me. I'm far more comfortable in front of a forge, a hammer in one hand, an anvil in front of me. But I am assured by our mages But the energy of each plane is different, the weaves different. But by drawing on all four, we can create marvels. A limitless supply of energy for magic, for industry. There is much to be gathered here.
I can't help but feel a little bit cautioned. I mean, as sort of an engineer that has worked on some of this technology, it is quite difficult to separate out the magic itself. I mean, what are the chances that you're going to put this thing together, turn it on, and then suddenly find yourself flooded by primordial fire?
Well, of course, a cloud giant would take an opportunity to point out flaws that they believe other lesser people would have overlooked. We've thought of this. The crystals arranged, regular intervals around the outside, are not just to connect, they are to modulate. The runes, etched upon every surface, are designed to channel the energy, to control its flow and keep it charged, consistent. And the spikes allow for transition between the weave from our world with the weave coming from across. I promise you, we have thought of everything. In fact, you're already benefiting from this technology right now. The platform upon which you stand is drawing energy from the plane of air, allowing for propulsion and free movement. A smaller, miniaturized prototype, but helpful nonetheless.
Does it affect the denizens there at all?
The elementals? No, it shouldn't. It only pulls upon the energy of each of the planes. And hardly enough for it to even be a drop in the ocean.
This is quite large with its scale. Obviously, all of us had no idea until today. Why,
Make a performance check or a persuasion check, because that was not very convincing. Your choice. I believe.
Okay.
That's a natural 1. That's a 0. It becomes immediately apparent to all of you that Bart and Ettringer both are lying in this moment. Outright lying.
Oh dear.
How long?
I'm going to even add in the ego. Of course, the design is so unique. How could any have seen such a marvelous ring structure? And I'm sure the activation sequence is simple and requires only verbal input. Just really outline. You've definitely seen this before.
How long have you been working on it for?
You watch as she turns.
I'm sorry, Ettringer. You seem rather familiar with this, if I'm not mistaken. I look around at the
truth.
I probably look at Lyra's giant, which I named
Chorus.
Evades me at this point. Chorus. That's right. I go. Are you hearing this, Chorus?
I am,
It's
and
not the
I'm.
first time Ettringer has seen this ring. What else have you been keeping from us?
Nothing at all. Maybe we should stop topics. Conversations between this might make us untrustworthy of one another. Nix.
Do you say Nix?
I'll cough it, yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, Niles, shut the fuck up.
You watch as Lady Surta turns curiously and goes, there was some help the fire giants received. The materials we needed to create these required mining from deep in the bowels of the earth. The stone giants provided us with said resources, and a select few were allowed to know the project. I see Ettringer and Utnir were included in that, and I would like to thank them for their discretion in this manner.
No idea what you're talking about.
Naturally, then. That makes sense. Obviously, your relationship with the Stone Giants precedes yourselves. You're well known for your alliance and your closeness to each other is well documented. So I
Indeed.
understand that this may be something that you have. I would have liked to have been informed of this prior to our visit, but I guess that is fine then.
We were of the belief that secrecy was vital concerning such a project. I see now that not all felt that way. She gives Etringer Bart a very pointed glare.
I'll just smirk a little and sort of hands behind my back. I guess self-important stone giants start like I guess somewhat walking in a semicircle around the large floating forge.
Come, I will guide the platform down to the loading bay. You may step across and examine these. I am sure each of your leaders would be very interested in what you have to say and report back regarding these. I would hate for you to go back with inaccurate information.
Silta,
Tell me twice.
if it's drawing upon the energy, there's no chance that eventually the plane runs out. We'd start drawing upon nothing. Death.
Death. One cannot draw upon death. Death is the absence of energy. And no.
That's what I mean. If it runs out, would that not be the only thing left to take?
You are talking of the elemental plane of fire, burning out so there is nothing left. Don't be ridiculous. The elemental planes are chaos personified. They are the burning heart of magic itself, in a way. There is no way that our meager tithe that we take from them would do anything long term. We would be drawing upon, as I said before, a drop in the ocean of their energy.
To at least entertain my curiosity, have any calculations been done, though, for that possibility?
On how much energy we're taking? Yes, of course. It is a minuscule amount, a fraction of a fraction of a fraction. No, there is no risk of us drawing the energy of the elemental plane of fire here. If we were to do so, our world would have burned and become the elemental plane of fire. That amount of energy couldn't be used for any... There is no thing that could use that amount of energy.
So
The elemental plane of fire feeds into all worlds, all realities. All of the elemental planes do. They are heart and center of the weave.
Then, excuse my ignorance, is there anything that lives in the elemental planes?
Yes, there are creatures and elementals as well. I mean, our forays into the elemental planes of earth and water have revealed creatures not too dissimilar from us, on a much smaller scale, of course, living on these worlds.
Do they mind us taking their energy resource?
They won't even notice. We're drawing upon the magic of the plane itself, pulling it through this portal. We're not drawing anything physical that they could see or track, taste, smell, or touch. We're pulling the very weave itself through.
And you are certain that your failsafes, these gemstones that you have implanted inside of the circle, will mitigate the risk of this planar travel? My understanding of teleportation magic is that it can be rather unpredictable if not conducted properly.
Yes. Luckily, we have notes from Sinmare herself.
Oh.
Research notes. Parts of the matrix that were used to create the planar portals, the ones that allowed the elves, dragons, and dwarves through. We have refined upon her design. We don't want to be bringing through others to our world, do we?
Well, I mean, of course, in this instance, we don't want anyone coming through unexpectedly, but have you consulted Sinmare on these alterations? Has she been brought upon to see these herself?
No. But when we reveal them, she is welcome to examine it.
I would hope so. Being the forefront in that design, I would hope that her expertise would be utilized. She may have something to say about it. I will inform her of this information when I arrive back with the storm giants.
I'm sure you will. Sorry, Corius, you were going to speak.
Oh, I was just going to say, theoretically speaking, now that I've got the idea in my head, I can't get it out. What would have to happen for, this one-way teleportation to suddenly start releasing either a bunch of fire, a bunch of lava, so to speak? I don't know, theoretically.
Fire or lava? Well, there would have to be damage to the design itself. The runes that allow for the transfer of energy would need to be overwritten or eroded away. There would need to be...
that know how to overwrite that? Are we safe on that security?
To scratch, to change the surface of this metal requires extreme amounts of heat. I can't see anyone being able to do this. It would take time and huge amounts of heat to change the runes and knowledge of their function.
So
the gemstones would need to be cracked. How did we set these up? We heated the metal up to extreme temperatures and molded it with the runes in the mold already, embossed.
I would love to meet the head rune carver.
There were no runes carved. The runes were set into what I would call a cast. Each individual piece is then assembled. We cast it in large bricks. If you look now, while we land, I can take you over to the Forge Masters working on this. You'll be able to see the central casting basin. It's in the very center of the platform.
I just want to note now.
What was that, sorry, Harry?
I want to note now that the second we get to the runes and can look at them, Harry wants to note all the runes that he possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Corius will help.
Yeah.
As the platform lands in the very center of this enormous hexagonal platform, it docks in perfectly, sliding into place, allowing you to all step off. You can see that heat shimmer haze has vanished. Seems like this platform is also protected partly from the heat below, from the lava below. And as you step out across, you can see set back around the very center, in these concentric rings, lava being pulled from the lake below, gathered into crucibles, and on top, a casting basin. Separated on each part, a fully assembled ring in individual pieces set all the way around, with the lava providing heat underneath. And you can see a ring about half the size of the giant ones underneath as well, glowing with this red-hot haze and strands of magic visible to the naked eye, winding their way through to the crucibles, providing even more heat. It looks like they're already using this magic to create more of the rings. Above, suspended, are a number of the enormous barrels that you saw when you were in that storage room, when you were awake.
Oh, yeah.
Many of them being opened, the contents poured into the crucibles, heated rapidly. And as they blend together, you watch as giants stand over them begin singing these tones that cause those molten metals to vibrate and then mix, alloying together to form the anamium. And then as they're poured into the individual casting basins, you can see that there are runes carved into the casting base as like an emboss poking out, that when it sets, leaves the runes carved on the surface. The metal itself is being poured into these casting bases with the runes already in place, so that when it solidifies, they're there inscribed upon the surface. Yes.
The Forge Masters, Bart would, I guess more so even Ettringer, because Bart knows his weaknesses. He's not good at reading people. He relies on Niles for that. Ettringer, this is his forte. They're sort of like opposites on either side of a coin. Ettringer is not the best people person, as we've seen, with a -1 persuasion. But I would like to do an insight check with Ettringer on the Forge Masters to see if anything seems off with any of them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Acting odd, disgruntled, anything like that. Any particular individual out of all of them as they're singing in that circle that sort of draws attention.
Yeah, 100%. Go for it.
22.
Oh, wow.
You can see that the Forge Masters are... A number of them are working away. Not a care in the world, focused on the task. A few of them seem curious at the visitors that have suddenly arrived at their top secret forging location. There are a number who are sort of looking around, curious at these newcomers. One in particular seems very focused on all of you. And as Lady Surta leads you around, showing off some of the aspects of the pools, you watch as this giant follows at a little bit of a distance, staying back. But then once Lady Surta finishes speaking, you watch as the giant approaches, and lifting up the enormous faceplate on their helmet, you can see it is a male giant. Enormous beard made of fire, burning underneath the helmet. As soon as he opens up the front, the beard spills out across his chest. Very, very dark, almost like blackened ash skin, glowing red-orange eyes, with a bit of an easy smile on his face. And as he approaches Lady Surta, you watch as she gives him a nod. He goes, "Ah, welcome, friends. Guests, welcome to the Lower Forge, as I've been calling it. I recognize some of your faces. You are the representatives from each of your clans, yeah?"
Indeed.
Yeah.
Who do we have the honor of speaking to?
"Ah, I am Brynir. It is good to see all of you." Brinir, Brynir.
Nice to meet you, Brynir. Yes, we are the ambassadors of the signing.
The all thing.
Eldia, you are hiding at the back, but I see you, cousin. Come, it has been too long. And you watch as this giant, the big bushy beard, walks right up to you, Ember, pulls you into a hug.
It has been a long time, hasn't it?
It has. As you say those words, you feel it. This man is kin to Eldia. He said cousin, but it feels closer than that. There's a bond between the two of you. And there's a sense of betrayal you felt earlier about not being told what was going on. That deepens in this moment. This person should have told you. You don't know why, but they should have trusted you with this. And it hurts that they didn't.
How long have you been down here, cousin?
Full time, 3 or 4 months. But I've been working on the initial stages of the project for coming up to a year now.
So this is something you didn't feel that you could trust me with, is it?
I'm sorry, under orders. You can look at our esteemed leader over there, Lady Surta, if you have any questions. I said you should be brought in immediately, but I was overruled. I am not one for breaking rules. Apologies, cousin.
Can I insight check that? Just
yeah,
to see
for sure.
Actually,
100%.
Yeah, awesome.
While this
yes.
inside check is happening, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Do these giants have a heartstone in their hands?
Very well reasoned. Yes, they do. A number of them do. Not all of them, but a number of them do.
Okay, interesting.
Brynir definitely does. Lady Surta does, 100%. A lot of the Forge Masters are wearing big, thick gloves, so you can't see, but Brynir has taken his gloves off to hug Eldia, so you can see that he has a heartstone, yes.
They definitely have heartstones. Okay.
Yeah, they do.
Cool.
17, Ember.
17 plus 6, actually, because I can't link it on my computer.
Yeah. So
yeah.
23. Yeah, you get a good read on this guy. You know him very well. He's not lying, but when he said he's sorry, he's not. And that is weird. Whatever this project is, he's keenly passionate about it, to the exclusion of everything else. It's nothing personal, but he's not, compared to the work he's doing, hurting your feelings hasn't really factored in.
So turning back to him and be like, just at a lower tone, be like, so they say that this is to draw energy, but is it truly for energy, or is this for power for the fire giants? If you know what I mean.
He kind of looks around, making sure no one's really listening as he leans back in and goes, "Why can it not be both? This is energy for us and for our kin, but only the fire giants can make this. We will make sure only the fire giants can make this. We have already made sure. This is our time to shine. We build. What do cloud giants bring? Huh? Judgment. Magic. We can do more. We make things that are real. We should be in charge.
I can't disagree with you, but how can you guarantee we can't do it? I mean, from the description, it sounds like we rely heavily on trade to make this. I mean,
the earth giants are with us. Yeah? Stone giants, they know. They are sick of being treated. They just want to be left alone. That's what they want. We can give them that.
What's next? Obviously, this is working right now, but why reveal this now? At what point? What advantage does this give us over?
They are ready. They are done. We are complete. 2 are finished. We will have the 3rd done by today. We are in the final stages of assembly. We will be doing a demonstration with these for the whole world to see tomorrow night.
Are they all here at this location?
Yeah, around all 6 right here of the largest that we have made. But, I mean, we have made a number of prototypes. I myself have 2 out in the fields. I am receiving data, information from regularly to make sure they are working properly.
Oh, I've not heard of any reports. I mean, I work closely with the other giants. Whereabouts are these being tested?
Well, a lot of places. We were very careful to draw as much information as we could early on to make sure they were working properly. There is one located near the edge of Tontanur, Stone Giant City. We are using it to power their forge that they are setting up with our help, so that they can create anamium themselves, transport it up to the surface to us. Saves a lot of time. Plus, with the elemental plane of fire, it's much easier for us to now shape the metal. We can heat it reliably, consistently, to reforge it. And don't tell the stone giants this, but they are better at the mixing, the alloying. They're singing. They are used to stone shaping. It's better than ours, okay? They do it better.
No, I do understand. I think if we have an opportunity, I would love to. I mean, we have some other stone giants here. I'm sure they won't take in too much, but if we could see some of these prototypes as well and see the behind the scenes.
You're standing on one. Here, come. I will show you the heart of the forge. With that, you watch as... Oh, yeah.
Who are the other stone giants actually in the group?
Utnir and Ettringer.
I'm going to gesture to both of them to come across.
Yep. Oh, a little bit of a split the party. Lady Sutia will take command of entertaining Corius and Sindaris in that case. Take care of entertaining Lyra and Niles. Harry Emberbart, as Ember gestures you over, you watch as Brynja nods to each of you and then leads you over to the edge of the platform. Looking down, you can see in the hollow space in the very middle a ring about half the size of the large ones above, glowing with energy, flames tickling around the border, this heat emanating from it, distorting the very air itself. And you can see the runes around the outside pulsing regularly with power, the gemstones occasionally crackling underneath. And you watch as threads of this visible weave. There is no detect magic up. You can see the threads with the naked eye. That is how strong they are. Pulse and move to each one of the crucibles, a large gemstone set underneath, housed in a cage of metal wire. The heat transferred to these rubies, allowing the crucibles to heat up and remelt the giant metal, remelt the anamium. Yeah, this is a prototype, the one that we are basing most of the fire giant elemental planes on, the fire ones, yeah? So you see here, and he begins to describe what you see, showing off the spikes, the sections around them, frost beginning to form on each one of the tips of the spikes. A heat transfer draws heat in and out, it's a whole thing. And you'll see here, tracing along the runes intact, constant use of fire. And as you watch, I mean, this seems to be working exactly as described. It just generates heat. Yes, Harry?
Can I access Figment?
Yes, you can. Yes.
So Harry will close his eyes and try to reach out and contact Figment to verify, one, does he understand? This is how it works? And if need be, could he almost make a schematic or blueprint or recall kind of like the theory behind it if we come across another one in the future?
Harry. Yes, I am here.
Hey, Fig, are you taking in what this guy's saying? Because it's a bit over my little head. I don't fully understand it.
I am listening, and I am trying my best to understand. But the technology they're describing here, I don't have any matching records in my database. This is something I was not aware of.
Yeah, it seems pretty secrety. If that's the case, can you make some new records based on what he says? And I have a suspicion that we might come across something like this again. I'm not a very technological Harrengon, so I'm going to really struggle. But maybe you'll be able to take some notes that might be useful, like record the runes that we're looking at here.
I can do so, Harry. I am able to view these memories from all the different viewpoints of those who experienced it. I have a full set of the runes inscribed, already recorded.
Harry takes notes of this. Harry takes note of this and intends to always look where everyone else is not looking in the future.
Not a bad idea.
Sorry, not bad. Except
So
remember,
everyone's looking at someone who's just going to be.
remember though that what you're experiencing isn't the past; it's the memories extrapolated. So like, it was only the memories of where those original giants looked that Figment is drawing upon. Unfortunately.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then the information basically extrapolated out from that as much as possible.
You still go?
That's it.
Ettringer will turn to Brunier. With myself in my part with Anam's dream, I enjoy art. The crafting is one thing that stone giants love doing in some of their downtime. I noticed some art around this base, along the walls, decor. What is the reason for the symbolism of the Ouroboros?
You watch as he looks around, confused.
The Ouroboros? I'm not sure what you're talking about.
A snake eating itself? I thought I'd seen a carving on a wall.
Maybe up in the upper forge? Not down here.
Possibly. Doesn't ring a bell for you at all?
It doesn't mean anything for me, sorry.
That's okay.
Wish I could tell you more, but it's not something I know much about. Well, your snake works like in a circle, or?
Yes, a sort of figure 8 eating its own tail. It just looked beautiful. I thought I would ask if it was made by one of the forge masters.
It could be a family crest. It's not unusual for forge masters to use their own heraldry or sigilry. I myself have a sigilry that I stamp many of my works with to make sure that people know it was me, Brynja, who made it.
Maybe, but I feel like if it was as important as it looked, it would be a family that you knew about. It's fine. Disregard.
Would it be something that, I mean, I'm assuming, I can't remember exactly because I've missed a few sessions, but is this a symbol that maybe I would have seen as well and I can now try and tap into mine?
It was on the doors to the entrance of the volcano. It was the handles of the volcano entrance was the symbol of the snake eating its own tail. It's the figure 8.
Is it something Eldir might have any recollection about?
Can you make me a history check, please, Ember, as Eldir?
Oh, that is. Yep, I'm amazing at those. That is a 16.
16.
Oh.
Eldir. Ember as Eldir. Yeah, as Bart describes that symbol as Ettringer, you don't recognize it, Ember, but Eldir does seem to recognize it. Something about that symbol. It's not a symbol of a house or a symbol of a family. It's a symbol of a function, of a location. You're not quite sure exactly what it's used for, but you've seen it. In its historical context, it's used to describe an area of a forge for fuel.
Cousin, I mean, I think my friend here might be mistaken. Is this not a symbol of ours? A marker, to say, for a location, for not energy, but something to be used to create that energy?
I worded that kind of poorly. I'm gonna quickly retcon my own description of that. More what I mean is in legends. Let me rephrase it because I didn't word this very well.
Gotcha.
In Fire Giant legends, there is a tale that is passed down, a children's story, and that symbol is used in it to denote a mythical place, a forge that never runs out of fuel, that always burns hot, that always rings true, that creates items of power, where the magic coalesces and generates. That is the symbol's meaning as far as you're aware. I was a bit vague. Let me. Yeah.
as a myth, then I'd probably just let that be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
I did have one other question. With all
Probably
these
back with Lady Silta.
Yeah.
Darius is probably
yeah.
taking this all in. Silta, yep. I'm probably taking this all in, and this is all rather impressive, and admittedly, it's your industry here is something to be marveled at. But
Thank you.
What do you hope to accomplish with this, other than the obvious? You've obviously got power here, and your forges will be able to supply us and giants around Nostea with weapons and any type of items that they might want. But what then? What comes after this? What is your goal? What is your dream with this? What do you hope to achieve?
You watch as she nods, reaches under her jacket, and pulls out from behind the breastplate a necklace with a silvery disc made of the giant alloy. This is the greatest thing we have ever made. This metal allows for perfect conduction of energy, of magic, allows for immeasurable creations and designs that are everlasting. But it is so hard to make. The heat required, the techniques that we need to employ mean that only the wealthiest giants can afford this. Now, our methods have allowed for us to produce far more of this. But still, only 1 in every 12 or 13 giants carries a heartstone. And this metal is vital for them. What we want, fire giants, we want to connect the world. And if we can be at its heart, driving that industry, why would we not? For too long, we have fought over resources. We have created weapons, swords, spears. But we could do so much more. And if energy and resources no longer had to be taken from the earth, if they could be siphoned from the plains themselves, think what we could accomplish. Anything. That is what I want.
Make a compelling case.
I guess if everyone was able to have a heartstone as well, I mean, that in itself would just be mind-bogglingly revolutionary. I mean, in a way, it would be putting, an end to the death of memories itself.
Indeed. Imagine all of us connected, able to access all technology, to hold information, to share. We have just begun to tap the surface of what these can do. And
Again,
I, for one, can't wait to see.
I mentioned before the the ramifications of all this for the little folk that have arrived here. But one thing that I
They
must
will not
mention
be
is
here long enough for this to be a problem. 100 years they were granted. A single century, and we are drawing near to the end of that. Soon
that
they
is
shall
true.
Soon they shall have to find a new world. And while they have yet
Yes.
to approve any of the ones that have been found for them so far, they are running out of time. The agreement was 100 years. We are almost there.
And they do not have any idea of your anamium?
Oh, I think by now the secret of the giant metal has gotten out. The dragons, I imagine, were the first to learn of it. The elves and dwarves, I imagine, would show interest as well. But they do not know the secret of its forging, nor could they forge it even if they wanted to. Dragonfire is hot, yes. But it requires a lot more than the heat they can produce to melt this. And to find the raw ores required, you need to be deep, deep in the Earth's center.
That I imagine is me, dragon.
I suppose I just worry that this alloy could get in the wrong hands if it was to come out of if it was to find its way out into the world. I hope that the fire giants would be quite diligent with its...
Even if it was, none of the weapons that have been forged recently are usable without a heartstone. It is all being tied together. No heartstone, no usability, and only a giant can operate a heartstone. They are tuned. No other being can wield them. No other being can bond them.
So the alloy and the heartstones are connected then?
The heartstones are made of the alloy. It is, I must say, credit to Sinmare. I thought her portals were her greatest invention. The heartstones are by far more impressive.
I will be sure to pass on your regards to her when I return.
And if these energy siphons continue to be safe and reliable, I mean, I think this is probably an invention that's worthy of rivaling them. I mean, as long as they stay safe, I mean, I'm quite impressed. I mean, I myself was trying to come up with, a way to get some, an infinite source of energy, and
classic
I
cloud
didn't
giant.
manage it, but it did kind of run away with itself. And did you run into any of those similar issues with runaway energy? I guess
that is why the circle.
This
is why the circular nature of the ring is so important. It prevents that kind of runaway energy. It keeps it all bound within the circle. That is why it must always be a ring, and the ring must be exactly circular. Even a deviation of millimeters is enough to throw off the calculations and cause instability.
Is there an emergency shut-off at all? I mean, it is one of the bigger regrets that I regret not doing on mine. I mean, I just kind of had to throw it into the sky.
The rings cannot operate without an activation sequence, and the deactivation sequence is all that is required to shut them down.
As long as it's, those that will continue to be with it know what it is.
Not even that. Any giant could activate or deactivate one of these. A heartstone is all you need, and the intention to either activate or deactivate it is not hard. It is meant to be safe. Well, as long as your heartstone is registered to the ring, of course.
Oh, I see.
Is it a difficult process? Sorry.
Oh, no. Any other...
Ulfric, my friend, you have been quiet this whole time.
Ulfric didn't follow you guys down underground.
He didn't? I thought he came with us. Ah, damn.
Do you know what? It would make no sense that he didn't come with you. Ulfric is there with you. I was just trying to think, Ulfric would be there. Yeah, Ulfric has been quiet, yeah.
Ulfric, my friend, you have been quite quiet this whole time.
Probably too hot for him.
What do you think of all this?
It is just confusing. You lot mentioned up there about these rings. You knew about these beforehand, some of you. You were asking me about them before we were shown these, which means you knew about them beforehand. Some of you, at least. Ulfric is just sad that you did not share this with Frost Giants. Once again, Frost Giants are left to the fringes, ignored. At your peril.
It does seem like our Stone Giant friends were at least abreast of the situation.
Indeed.
As we're up having a secret conversation.
Yeah, he just looks over at, you cannot trust fire giants. That is something the Frost Giants have always known. And while they may wow you with this impressive display of magic and metal, it is not real. Do not forget that. And there will be something wrong about this. This thing has no soul. It has no life. There will be some drawback. Some miscalculation they have made. That is how it always is. The Frost Giants have a better understanding of this.
Noted.
Good.
Have there been... Sorry, Lady Surtur. You mentioned the dragon's interest in this. Has there been any other interest from any other parties outside of the folk that we've spoken of already? I mean, obviously, the little folk are not going to be here long enough to fully appreciate the magnitude of this. The dragons, well, they are covetous in their nature for all things, as we have found. But are there any other interested parties beyond this world that you know of that may be interested to see how things progress?
Very good, Niles. Would you like to make me a persuasion check?
That's that's one thing Sindaris is really good at.
Very good, Niles. Very good, Niles.
Yeah.
Very well reasoned. Because
hopefully it rolls
that's a good point. Planar travel is possible at this point in history, so...
Fuck yeah, that's a 25.
Nice.
25. Yeah.
Please take all my money.
He watches, she nods, goes, Astute as ever, Sindaris. I would be lying if I said we had not been approached by interested parties elsewhere. Apparently, our anamium has a lot of potential, we are told, for astral craft. A metal that can transmit energy perfectly.
I was just gonna fucking ask.
Transmit weave, magic, and hold and convert it into a usable form to allow for that transference while not degrading. Apparently there are a lot of uses for astral craft. The phlogiston has proved to be a problematic part of astral travel and navigation, and it seems our alloy can shield from its effects somewhat. So yes, we have had some interest, and I would not know these things if we had not already provided some samples to off-worlders.
Intriguing.
No risk of them trying to, come here and claim the source for themselves. I mean, we are mighty, but, you never know what's out there.
We made it very clear that this was not something that was unique to our world. It was unique to our craft, that only we can make it. But the materials for it are common. And they believed it. I do not think it is something that they will see as unique to our world, more unique to our people. And that is an important difference. One means trade, one means other opportunity. And we wanted to keep them on the trade side of things.
Naturally, that makes sense.
It's in my nature to tend to worry about the worst possibilities, the sheer volume of things that blow up. But you've made it clear that it is of your craft, of the fire giants. Have you thought about the possibility about mind control? I mean, I know it's far-fetched, but...
Mind control? What?
In the same way that memories can be stored on the Heartstone, could not memories be, say,
Memories stored on the Heartstone? No, they hold information, but it's not
What is it?
It's
What
not
is
a
a memory,
memory.
of not information?
But it is different. It is like a snapshot, a picture, or a capture of what you see and hear. I would not call this. Maybe I would call this a memory, but it does not hold the heart and soul. It is, or the feelings. It is just the image. Yeah. It is a long step from this to mind control. No,
Have you seen some of the magic that those little ones are wielding? I mean, they seem to be doing all sorts of mumbo jumbo to each other. I mean, who's to say in the future, you know?
You, as a cloud giant, Corius, would be the expert on what the weave can do to befuddle the senses, to ensnare the mind. This is not something the fire giants are interested in, nor have tested or experimented with. And if you were wondering about the intricacies of the Heartstone, you will need to speak to our storm giants, comrades. We only provided the metal for it in the shapes that were prescribed. We did not create the Heartstones. That lies with the storm giants, and so far they have refused to share all designs and patterns on how to create them ourselves.
Really?
Yes. Just as you and your people, Corius, have still refused to share exactly what spell and what magic ritual was used in the planar portals. We do not know exactly. Only Sinmare and the Cloud Giants know the exact magic. We have had to make do with our own version of it. But those stable portals that were opened by Sinmare, only she and the Cloud Giants know the secrets of how to create that specific magic. And how to stabilize it. You have not deigned to share this, along with many other spells.
Well, after today's good showing of your technology, I'm sure that the Storm Giants may be more obliged to share some of the more intricacies of the Heartstone and perhaps
One
how it
can
might be able to
hope.
work.
One can
I can
hope.
do my best, but you know that I am just an emissary on behalf of King Bjorn and my people. I can only say what I can say, and what I have heard today is a rather compelling case to bring that forward to them, and hopefully that would mean that we can be more forthcoming with our own secrets, and hopefully, in a show of good faith, be able to supply that to you in due course.
That I would appreciate. Now, the other thing is... Yep, you go.
On. I was just going to say, can I do a sort of a super quick memory dive on if Corius knows what the spell is to stabilize the portal, or if he was involved in the making of it?
Yeah, 100%.
Because she's sort of artificial, so it is kind of the melding of the magic and the technology.
Could I please get a history check?
Certainly.
I believe. Natural 20. Oh, 20!
Dirty 20?
I'll take a dirty 20. Corius. Lyra. Corius does know. It's not clear in your mind, but as that is mentioned, there's a sense of satisfaction that you feel. Yes, the Cloud Giants have successfully kept that information secret. And what Lady Serta does not know, Sinmare doesn't know all the details of that portal stabilization spell either. The Cloud Giants did a very good show of making sure that they kept the better part of that secret from even her. She thinks she knows, but not fully. And I'm going to say, Corius was partly involved in that.
Sorry, I'm not sure if this is like sort of very much sort of overstepping like what Corius' sort of station would be, but I'm thinking along the lines of along the same lines of the things that was told to Sinmare. So not the whole picture, but like a corner bit of a puzzle piece kind of thing.
Yeah.
That, you know, and just like if I can sort of like write it down a little bit of parchment, just like there will be more forthcoming, but as you're saying, a show of good faith, and just sort of hand over sort of the first little thing, like something that maybe she wouldn't get into
part of a
so
spell.
much trouble about believing.
Yeah, part of a ritual. She hand over some of the sections. You watch as Lady Serta takes it and goes, interesting, and tucks it away.
as this is happening, Sindaris wants to like step and kind of like look up, out towards the top of the volcano, kind of up into the sky, if there is a sky to be seen.
So at the moment you're underneath that higher forge level, there's just the cavern wall and roof on top of you.
I will still look up at the roof.
Yeah.
And I will sort of say to my, say idly to Lady Serta, but kind of also to everyone. Yes, this mention of those beyond Nostea that are interested, these other parties, I hope that this does not attract the attention of undesirable forces outside of our control. The giants will obviously be able to handle such things, but there are rumblings of darker creatures beyond our scope. Hunger. I don't know if you've heard of that before.
Seeking more energy.
Creatures
Hunger.
that desire such power.
There will always be creatures that desire power, and I suppose it is not too early to reveal that the cloud giants and fire giants have been working on a solution to this. A defense for those that might come to our world from the stars, from the astral space. We are currently in the process of producing pillars to channel vast amounts of magic through that will be floated up into the upper atmosphere and beyond to encircle our planet. The astral sea itself provide protection from any craft that would wander too close.
Only craft?
Well, anything large enough to be significant will be warded back, shall we say.
Well, that's the plan at least.
Exactly. And the power to supply these, we need the rings.
Indeed.
Interesting.
It does pose a troubling
Muted,
thought.
Christian.
I'm not
Can
muted.
hear.
I can hear.
Oh.
Yep.
Maybe Yep, no, never mind. That's just me.
Yeah, that does pose a troubling thought of if Hadar can't get to the planet at the moment, that means there's been a ring active this entire time. Like, even though we've seen the volcano active, that's recent. That means somewhere else on the planet, there's one that's been going 24/7 for centuries.
Hundreds of years. Yeah.
That's
I'm
crazy.
thinking almost the opposite. Like, they've all been off, so Hadar lost interest, but the giants came back, someone turned them on, and it's like, oh, hello.
Could be.
Yeah.
Also, would be pretty spicy.
I mean, I
You
just
know
imagine,
that
like,
this turned. Like, as soon
like
as the giants
Nostea?
arrive back.
I mean, like Nostea, with the amount of energy that they're referring to, it'd be like a moth to a flame for Hadar. That's what I'm imagining in my mind.
Well, the other question is, why hasn't Hadar gone after the elemental planes? Ever?
Yeah, good point.
It's a good question.
That's true.
Not playing.
Etringer would like to turn to Sildar. You still here, Simon?
Oh, to Simon's giant? That
I'm
is
still here,
Eldia.
sorry. Yeah, Eldia.
Eldia, sorry. Who am I thinking of? Sildar?
Serta and Eldia. I think you're combining them together into
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
That would be their daughter. If Eldia and Lady Serta got together, their daughter probably would be
Okay.
Sildar. Yeah.
Eldia. Look, I'll just be upfront. I think your brother may be hiding more things. Just a suspicion.
I'm not sure if he would hide those things from me, but I'm sure his intentions weren't.
I'm saying this openly as well with him, like in a conversation with us.
Oh wow.
Oh, cool. Briny is there.
Yeah. I want him to be there. Well, Brynir, would you mind if we tried to get the truth from you? If our people are to have an alliance here.
Excuse me? Get the truth from me.
You're the one that's been making this.
I am one of a team who have been making this, yeah.
Stone Giants want assurance is all.
Stone giants have already received those assurances, along with a lot of payment. The setup of your own forge not enough for you?
Then why were you intently so surprised upon our entrance?
I was merely surprised that you were coming today. I thought we were doing this unveiling in 2 days' time at the All Things Summit. Isn't that right, Lady Sitya? He watches Queen sort of nods. I invited them here sooner. It is a show of faith to the leaders of each of the representatives of the All Thing. Yes, we will be making the public announcement in 2 days' time, where we will activate the first of these rings for all the world to see. But I figured it would be worth making sure that our allies had advance notice, and so that they can appear, I am hoping, confident and committed to what we have to show. For all our people's sake. Which is Bruni nods. I did not know that you were coming today. I thought all of this would be public on the day of the All Things Summit. That is why I was surprised to see you all.
No, I still feel uneasy. I'll turn back to Silta. Do you mind if I check?
Check what?
Your worker.
In what way?
I just want to find out that there's nothing else going on here. No weak links in the chain.
You are
Not that
bold,
mind control I was afraid of.
stone giant. You've been brought further into our confidence than any other outsider has been before. Granted every courtesy. This is a great insult and dishonor to imply that Brynja, one of my specifically chosen forge masters, a fire giant who has served for over 200 years for the betterment of our people, is somehow a weak link in the chain of our forging.
Wow.
This is a mighty overstep, and I bid you choose your next words very carefully.
We can take her. We can take her. No.
You were trying to build trust, correct? There's a lot
Yes.
of defense happening here. If there is this much...
No, there is a lot of offense coming from you.
Yikes.
When we entered, there was already suspicion. Why did he not know? Why was this known only by you that we were arriving today? Things just...
Why would I share this information with Forge Masters? This is matters of state security, not
Exactly,
forging.
there's a lot of secrets happening.
Your people may have one way of doing things, the Fire Giants have another. It is not... Now you are questioning my leadership. You are daring to infer that I was remiss in not warning my people? Why would I warn Forge Masters? I come here to inspect regularly. I bring Fire Giants with me many times. Those who need to know. Yeah?
And question.
Yeah.
How's the dream going at this point with this
It's fine.
divergence?
It's fine.
No glitching or anything?
Well, you're not pushing it beyond what Figment can handle. And the other important factor to keep in mind too, Figment's processing power to be able to work around these, a lot more powerful than Architect.
True,
Than Archivist, sorry.
true.
A lot more powerful than Archivist.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay,
remember,
never mind.
Figment is kind of like the driving engine for this right now.
Yeah.
And Figment, his connection with Harry, he can improvise a lot more than the other programs can. He's becoming a lot more human as time goes
Well,
on.
plus,
He's
empowered by the location that we're in as well. So
yeah, but mostly like that connection you have with Figment, Harry, you're changing him. He is changing, same as you have changed
That's
a
my
little bit.
Vicky.
Yeah, so
Figment has lied. Figment has, there are changes happening within Figment that make him far better for this than anyone else, which has actually worked out really well for you guys. This is all, it's all worked out really well. But this was not you could have easily been if you had been doing this on the old Archivist version, this would have fallen apart. You've pushed it to its extremes, but this version, Figment's running, it's running fine. You think that there's a lot more, you can push these a lot more than you could before.
Right.
Which means there might be consequences that you can feel that you couldn't feel before.
I'll look to LDO again.
Yeah.
What do you think? I would like to find out. But what is your thoughts? As there's definitely a flip of a coin before Bart pulls a trigger, but it doesn't want to just in case.
Who are you asking, sorry?
Eldia.
Ember.
Unmute.
Helps if I am unmuted. Yeah, you're right.
No, it's Eldia's just like, mate, you're in this hole. I'm not getting you out.
Yeah, no. At this point in time, I mean, it's a bit of a conflict because I'm also in a location which I have not been told about. I've been deliberately misled. I had no idea about this, and I'm questioning kind of the thing. So at this point in time, I'm not going to intervene if you want to push things, but I wouldn't be the one to...
No answer is an answer. Bart is going to... Ettring is going to stomp his foot. And I'm a paladin, so I'm hoping that even though it's not on the stat sheet, there are paladin things that Ettring would have access to, ancient paladin forms of magic. And it's just a memory. So, even if they get pissed off, I would like to try to Zone of Truth on Brenier.
Oh, fuck.
But as you go to do this, there is an internal conflict. For a moment, you feel yourself split. On one hand, Ettringer, the stone giant, would never have done this. You have already pushed Ettringer's ability, what Ettringer would have done, the memories of Ettringer, to the maximum. And this act breaks that continuity. Ettringer would never have done this. But you are in control. You can push through this. As Bart, you can force this to happen. And it seems like you can take this a lot further than what the others thought was possible previously. As you push and feel that connection break, there is a sense of confusion and then suspicion that you feel from inside your heartstone. A consciousness just for a moment that sees you pushing against it. And that disapproval is the last thing you feel before it fades. As you cast Zone of Truth, it's a wisdom save from everyone inside the zone, correct?
Yeah, I don't care about the other people if they pass us, because it's just it would just be like a very small close area, and we purposely walked away from them, so I feel like it's just affecting.
Everyone's kind of together now. Like, you've brought this all back. Everyone's there, like looking at each other suspiciously.
Look, I'm fine for them to do.
Everyone's there. I'll roll for Brinier and for Lady Sirta. What's your spellcasting?
You know what I thought?
Yeah,
Sorry,
you go. No, you go.
Oh, you know what I thought you were going to say, Owen, when he was pushing it to the boundaries?
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say that Harry just drops.
Smoke coming from his ears as his CPU overheats. You watch as Harry's eyes go blue. He go book. Blue screens. Yeah. Harry's heartstone just goes blue, and there's this white giant runes on the surface as Harry just drops.
Question. Yes. Obviously, they're not used to combat. It's not optimized.
Yeah, so to just be... So I think it'd be using a charisma. So it'd be 10 plus your charisma modifier.
That's what I'm saying. Ettringer has a 9 saving throw, but that's because this stat sheet isn't made. It's just used for the rolls and skill checks. In that case, you did still pick your subclass for Ettringer for the abilities of it, which means that this is still using the spellcasting modifier. So that would make
the spell save DC. What's your proficiency bonus for a level 3 would be what, +1?
Oh, no, I'm looking at the spell save DC at the moment.
Oh yeah,
and it's 9.
9.
Yeah.
In that case, then that is what it is. Because you did pick. Because you could choose the subclass and the class, not the subclass, but you could choose the class based on the stat array, and you wanted to double down Paladin. So unfortunately, that means that in these moments, you're.
But I don't get to move my ability scores though, so it means that all paladins that are giants are just shit.
All paladins that are stone giants are shit.
Okay.
So, for example, if you were playing as a hill. You're playing as a frost, cloud, or storm giant, you would be having a much better time of things.
Okay.
As a paladin.
Yeah.
Here's what happens. I actually
I don't know.
really
Is the zone of
shit
truth
for you.
targeting us as well?
You're all in it, yeah. But I think it sounds like.
I'm going to roll.
Okay.
I rolled an 11.
Go on then. Roll it if you'd like. Oh, apparently I can go pick up my Mario Kart and switch to console now. JB, you've just messaged me. See you later, guys. I reckon it must have just closed, which means they've then said you can pick it up tomorrow. That's hilarious. Yeah. Alrighty, we've got an 11, a 10, 21. Nice. So Nars 11, Lyra 10, Harry 21, Ember 8 plus your wisdom. You'd be fine.
14, yeah.
Yeah, you're fine. I have actually rolled really bad for Brynir. That's a fail.
Really?
Seata passes. Brynir's only a total of 7. I rolled a 2. Like, it's not really getting past that. Kind of fucked over on that one. Yeah. Even with the +5.
No.
Even the +5, I can't pass that. What was that?
With the stomp of the foot. Sorry.
I was just going to say, would Figment know what Brimier's hiding? Like, if it sort of wasn't.
It depends. If he has Brynir's memories or Lady Seata's memories from their Heartstones, then yes, he could. Yeah, for sure. Depends what he's got access to.
Yeah, with the stomp of the foot, not wanting to give Brynir too much time to think if it does work, I'm just going to shout, "Why did you look at us?"
Fuck me.
You watch as Brynir looks confused for a second and goes, "Was not expecting to see my cousin Eldir here. I was told to keep it secret from my friends and family." It does seem to be telling the truth.
Wow.
And then you watch as he kind of like looks confused for a second and goes, "You have cast a spell on me. This is unacceptable." And as he looks towards Lady Seata, you watch as she turns towards you, Bart. Fury across her face. "This is a betrayal. You never, ever cast spells on other giants without permission. You have broken the very fabric of the Earth Thing, and as a representative of the Stone Giants, this could shatter the Earth Thing itself."
Now, it appears that my stone giant friend here seems to have confused himself with his dreaming and his non-dreaming. I believe he might be in a bit of a stupor still. I believe he might be confused.
A common excuse for stone giants wishing to pay no account for their behavior.
I'm sure that he will be reprimanded in time for breaking the all thing.
You watch as she turns towards you, Harry. Turns towards Whitney. "Will he, Prince?"
She was just racist, hadn't we, Harry?
I'm just
racist to us.
I'm just surprised. I admittedly am only just coming out of my stupor. I realized that I was in the field position earlier, and I apologize.
Yeah, you were in a fetal position before.
I
right, we didn't
will
talk about
raise
that.
this with my father when I next see him, and we will definitely treat this with the utmost level of. I just have a flashback of my father's zombie corpse, with haste and priority.
You'll be seeing him
I'm
in
the
2
zone of truth
days.
as well. I'm in the zone of truth
Yeah.
right now.
You are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, you are.
You did
too.
pass though,
Yeah, yeah,
21,
so-
so it means you can lie.
Yeah. Okay. In 2 days? Yes. I will find him as soon as he gets here and discuss the matter with him. And I smack Bart's giant across the head.
Boom.
I'll try to roleplay it.
We
I'll be
need-
like, the waking creatures are silly, and I'll like wander off.
It's a very satisfying thumb carry. You watch as the dream begins to fall apart at this point, but it doesn't end. The figures around you blur into smoke and mist as time begins to accelerate forwards. Not very far. Maybe 2 days. You find the landscape around you shifts and twists. You're back outside, the light momentarily blinding you as you stand atop an enormous platform with many other representatives of the Storm Giants, the Cloud Giants. You can see King Mjorn standing there, looking resplendent as he waves to the crowds of giants below. And there are many giants of all different nations assembled here at the crater. And in the very center, you can see a massive cloud obscuring some structure. But you recognize the outline through the mist and haze, the enormous ring. You watch as the crowd quieten down as Lady Surtur steps up on her small platform, rising up into the air, her voice magnified by some device that she holds in her hand, speaking to the crowd, telling them of the marvelous ingenuity of the giants, culmination of all giant races, coming together to produce limitless energy. And as she reaches up, you watch as the cloud dissipates, revealing the ring, hovering in place. And as she reaches up, she places her hand upon one section, slowly stroking around the outside before bringing her hand back and curling it into a fist. And as the heartstone illuminates on her hand, you watch as the ring flashes, the gemstones in the center glowing bright red. And as they do, a sequence of electrical sparks begin to spray across the surface of the ring. And as it activates, the center fills with this bright red mist, flowing almost like liquid as it burns brighter and brighter before suddenly perfect shimmering surface, almost like a quicksilver mirror. But beyond, you can see a glimpse of the elemental plane of fire. Smoke hangs heavy in the air. Lakes of lava stretch as far as the eye can see. But you only catch a glimpse as the ring begins to rotate until it is horizontal, the view hidden as weaves of that red energy begin to rise out. And as they begin to move around, you see more fire giants rising up, holding aloft almost like lightning rods that as soon as they connect the energy, they then place down into sockets. The energy lighting up the area around as the forges, the volcanoes, begin burning bright, the smoke suddenly dissipating as red light shines from each single volcano, burning bright as the forges alight within. You watch as the dream begins to twist and fade and fall apart once more. And as it slows to a halt, the edges becoming transparent, you watch as a figure steps out of the smoke, forming from the mist of the dream itself. It's humanoid, vaguely Harrengon shaped, with ears, metallic, almost like little radar dishes streaking back off its head as it walks forward. And as it stands before you, shadowy metal draped around its form, almost like liquid flowing underneath these metal plates, you hear Figment's voice.
And that is all I have on this particular structure. Were there any other things that you wish me to find?
We didn't find out who this giant is. That's so infuriating. The one that's doing everything now in the present day.
Does it
I am
matter?
sorry, I do not know exactly which giant it is, but maybe when you see them, you will recognize them from the dream.
It doesn't matter. We did gather a lot of information. We understand their motivations a bit more and what the portal is. It has been useful.
Wait a minute. Do you have the end of the history of the giants recorded? Sort of before they all, well, disappeared from our world as we know it, but, you know, sort of, I'd kind of sort of maybe guessed that maybe it was the turning on of these portals that sort of caused them all to go, you know, poof into the astral, but if that's not the case,
I have already shown you a section in the Stone Giant City when all the giants were banished. I can play that specific piece again for you if you'd like.
Ah, it's all good. Must have been picked up on the dreaming. I realize I may not have been there for that episode. All good.
There was a light in the sky, brighter than any, and a sound, like a musical tone that rang out across the land. And as it resonated, giants and the things they'd built, many of the things they'd built, began to shift and shimmer, and then went dark. Unfortunately, I deactivated at that time.
The tone, was it similar or just sort of very dissimilar from the sort of the singing that the fire giants are doing? The one that managed to sort of unify the Anamium, was it?
Yes, it was not the same musical note, but it was a musical tone, frequency that played very loudly.
I mean, it stands to reason. I think Lyra has a point here. Resonance, if the resonance of the fire giants is able to fuse to create the Amanium, maybe it was a resonance that a certain tone or a pitch that was able to get rid of the giants. That can't be right, can it?
Perhaps with the heartstones, maybe. I mean, if the Anamium itself reacted to a particular tone frequency, that's beyond me.
Let's not move too far topic, though. Right now, we're still inside a volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I'm frustrated that we didn't find out the identity, I really thought there was going to be some sort of a mole. What if the giants, the groan that we heard before, my brain is just trying to work out why this is all happening.
Well,
what if they're an ally and not a foe? And what if the groan is because they haven't been able to turn off the forge, not that they activated it?
It's possible. We won't know until we confront them, by any case, the imagination. It could be an ally, it could be someone trying to turn it off, but I mean...
They did say that time was possible to deteriorate the runes on the circle enough that it would just kind of go a bit haywire itself. I mean,
plenty of time.
The slightest millimeter, they said.
Stands to reason, maybe.
A large area to search.
Not even that. I mean, it's been exposed to the heat of the volcano for a number of years since the giants left. There could be other ramifications to the ring as well, beyond just surface damage.
Just to clarify, though, Niles, didn't we confirm this is not a volcano? It is just a mountain. The fire coming out of it is from the ring.
That's a good point.
Not to mention the calamitous upheaval caused by the ruin. The event you described, where the gods fought and the earth itself was broken. Such an event was untested on Anamium. I am not sure how well it would have survived. There is a chance that it could have been damaged.
We are in the Shattered Isles. It does stand to reason that things in the Isles have been shattered, so... Yep, I would subscribe to that line of thinking.
If it was damaged, if the rings were slowly reactivating and turning back on, maybe the giant is here as it was trying to deactivate it. Maybe that's why not all of them are here. In any case, but my main worry was originally I thought that we might be able to sneak up on this foe and catch them unawares, but now, frustratingly, we might have to converse with them first.
Well, we have some aces up our sleeves. We do have a bit of an understanding of what this is. And that point about the oh no, I didn't hear that bit. Never mind. Carry on.
Is there any indicator on how long you've been in a dream in like real time?
It's hard, right? It's very hard to track time in a dream. But if you ask Fig,
do any of us have a watch? Is that like a clock that we have? Like,
yeah.
But even if you did, if you looked at a watch face,
in this world.
If you looked, clocks do. Yeah, clocks do. But like the miniaturization of the clockwork and for like watches and things like that hasn't really taken off yet. Not in the same way.
I can shoot laser beams from my hand.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? But that's the thing. That's the thing,
Yeah.
right? Is that magic has taken such a predominant focus. A lot of technology's kind of lagged behind. It's the massive sort of arcane revolution that's occurring now with artificing is brand new. There are people with pocket watches. Pocket watches have been invented. Wristwatches, not so much yet. But if Harry wanted to be the merchant who like started the trend of wristwatches, definitely could be worth looking into.
There's a gap in the market.
There's a gap in the market. But even if you had a pocket watch, if you looked at it, you're in a dream. How accurate is it going to be? You don't know. Because it's not going to be tracking time accurately. But you could just ask.
Sorry, I misunderstood. We're still in the dream. That's my.
You're still in the dream. Yes.
No,
Figment appears before you. The
But
dream
don't
has
worry.
kind of frozen in place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More concerningly, a defense mechanism around Nosnea. Hello, did we know about this? This is news to me.
I don't think so. Isn't that what we saw in the Kuatoan marbles?
Oh, I had forgotten that aspect. That would explain what we saw on the murals. You're quite right.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was at the time, but that fills in that blank. It
I
explains.
think with the Hadar imagery as well, it was specifically to head him off.
I'm also uneasy about. I don't know anything new. I'm feeling. There's too much we don't know. The Riz and the Astral Citadel. Yes. The Astral Citadel sounds like a fairly powerful area, a place able to hide from the eyes of Hadar, traveling across the plains in space. It wouldn't surprise me if maybe they did end up getting a ring, and if they're using it to power the city.
Oh, at the Citadel?
And moving the Citadel rapidly enough that Hadar can't find them, I guess.
To escape something like Hadar without the protection of the barrier, they would need something powerful at least.
I mean, there were people at the Citadel interested in the alloy. That's
also. Didn't we only count for 3 rings? Didn't Silta say 6 with more worked on?
You saw 6 in production. Only 2 had been finished, and the dream that you experienced was the 3rd one being finished. But 6 full-sized ones, along with smaller prototypes. Yeah.
And that's not including the ones that the other giants had already created as well.
These aren't these are like the specific. So the just to clarify, I think what you guys know, the energy transfer rings, the ones that connect to the elemental planes, only the fire giants were making them.
Yeah.
There are now 6 full-sized ones. The one that's at the top of the volcano is one of those. Yeah. Possibly. You don't know whether they finished the other 3. You don't know whether
what did your people do?
Yeah.
Great question. Yeah, no idea.
But that's the thing, right? You don't know whether they finished the other 3, but you know for a fact 2 were completed. You saw them in the dream, and that last one was in the process of being finished as you experienced the dream. So definitely 3 were made.
6.
There were 6 places, and like there were 3 that were being constructed that were only in the starting stages. So they only had the scaffolding around to have those sections placed. 3 that were basically done. 2 that were 100% finished, and 1 that was almost finished when you experienced the dream.
Okay, that's better than nothing then.
So it might only be 3. Might be a lot more.
Figment, I think, wasn't he saying it's like there were 3 confirmed made, and a couple of them might be in the Storm's Redoubt?
Oh, shit. That's interesting.
I really hope this device isn't.
That is correct. 3 that are locked, all of which are, as far as I'm aware, still in the Storm's Redoubt. One of which is powering the Storm's Redoubt.
Did anyone learn anything else from their own respective parts of the dream? I learned that the Ouroboros snake wasn't made by the stone giants, as far as I'm aware. Maybe something after them.
Oh. I wasn't aware that that was a conversation that you had. Good that you followed that up. I mean, Sindar seemed very trusting of Lady Sitia, but Niles, that's me right now, Niles, well, I am not so sure. My insight is a bit better, and I think she was lying about some of the things. Sindar seemed to believe her, but I'm not so sure.
Boreas knows what the...
Well,
go ahead.
Especially when I asked about the small folk, she seemed to think that there was no ramifications, but I don't believe she was telling the full truth.
Have you thought about the repercussions? No.
That's like, even Niles' like passive insight would be enough for him to be like, I don't know about that. Like that's why Niles is saying this.
Did anyone else learn anything important that might help us?
Ali?
Yeah, Corius, I think, knew the stabilization spell to turn the portal into the energy harvesting device. I mean, I doubt it's something that we can make ourselves, but maybe between Griswold and Sidmari and Lockie, if I can somehow, dig that out of the messages of my memory, we might be able to make our own portals and maybe get the defense network working.
If you're able to achieve a semi-unconscious state, you might even be able to ask Corius yourself.
Even more pertinent right now, it means that maybe you, with, I guess, they said that it needed to be one that has been approved. Maybe Ember's Heartstone being a fire giant. Both of you together might be able to deactivate the ring here.
But it was a simple process that I never got as far as asking what the process was.
That's fine. At least we have an idea. I was so worried that we didn't know what to do to stop this. Now we have at least some plan.
We got hope.
The other interesting piece of information was the revelation that the animanium seems to be related to the Heartstone. Like, obviously the Heartstone is created by the same alloy, but she seemed to imply that the full potential of the metal seems to be connected to the Heartstone. So that leads me to think that, and Bosh, you'll want to hear this, that perhaps Nyx's plan has a flaw. They may not be able to fully access the true capabilities of the animanium, of their armor, because they don't have the Heartstones like we do.
They're just using it as lightweight, strong metal.
She did say that all giant tech requires a Heartstone. That's something that I remember, and that I feel like will be very important.
The armor is crude, yes, and it does provide a light alloy that seems to be rather hot, but she did say that the Heartstones are key to its use, correct? So there could be an advantage that we have there. There could be some sort of workaround or some sort of exploit we might be able to use against our enemies if we come across them in our travels. I'm sure we will when we return to the Eris.
She did learn a little bit about that, did she not? About the Heartstones, about Obsidian Foot's interest in them, sparking her own interest?
Only that the Heartstones required that they held memories and not the intricacy details that we have. True. We know a lot more now. She only knows what I knew and what Obsidian Foot knew, which wasn't much.
Yes. As you all awaken from your dream.
Figment would ask,
are there any more things you wanted to see inside the dream? I can replay any sections or before I wake you up.
Is there anything you think we missed, Figment?
I'm not sure. I had to work a little bit at the end there to keep it all together. You
Sorry, I got frustrated. I
deviated
apologize.
somewhat from the way the memory was designed, but that is okay. I was able to construct a plausible scenario to match with what had occurred, based upon the memories.
Giants are just the stone giants, at least, are so passive. I can't deal with it.
I believe they care little for what goes on above their own caves. It's
don't understand that.
It is hard to understand.
Figment.
Oh, there you go.
I was just going to say, do you have the exact procedure for either registering a Heartstone to the portal gate thing to deactivate it, turn it off, or do we need to maybe go back through and see if we can find out what the exact decommissioning processes, so to speak.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure any of your giant echoes were witness to the activation, deactivation, or registering of a heartstone to the portal. I can have a look,
Okay.
but I'm not sure such a thing was witnessed, and therefore, I would just be showing you my best guess, which is not necessarily the truth.
Oh,
No, that's all good. Thank you.
Figment, or even anyone else, did you pick up anything from our heartstones? Did any of you? I felt emotions that were not my own at one point.
I seemed rather in tune with Zindara's. I didn't pick up on any deviations, as far as I'm aware.
No, mine was
He was crazy. I was like mourning the loss of my father, but that didn't happen yet.
Oh yeah.
Did I get a rise from Corius when I gave part of the stabilization?
Oh yeah,
sequence?
yeah. You felt it. That was a moment, not as extreme as a split, but definitely not something Corius would have ever done. Hand over part of a cloud giant magic secret to some filthy fire giants.
Figment.
Cloud giants are a bit racist. Sorry.
Yeah.
All giants are a bit racist.
Yeah, I held my tongue so hard and frustrated on Ettringer's behalf. And she was like, hey, it's the usual excuse. And I was like, I'm about to punch a princess.
Just funny. It's still less bad than the actual giant ordning. But I need to show some of it because the ordning is so crucial to giant culture in D&D. So because we've obviously changed that around a little bit, where it's not as obviously like a serfdom style thing, but there is still those. The whole thing is kind of like the next generation. The ordning's been in place. It's not sustainable. It just leads to infighting. This is their next attempt at it, but the echoes of that still hang over them, and it's hard. It's a hard habit to break when you're a long-lived creature who's used to looking down upon. It's very hard to break, and so they're trying to break away from it, but it's. Yeah, there's echoes of it for sure.
Yes,
I don't know if we're finished here, but I am curious. We've been going to different memories, different points in our journey as ambassadors, but there's obviously something that must happen between us because we all know what happens with the souls and with the heartstones. And clearly from that memory, there were signs that some of the giants had encountered combat. There were scars and scratches and other signs of combat. I suppose what I'm trying to say is I wonder if there's a memory of the very last meeting with our ambassadors and what that looks like. I'd be very curious to know what that meeting was, the last time all the giants were present together.
Would you like me to find that and have it ready for your next time you are safe and able to sleep?
Perhaps if that's not too much trouble to have it preloaded just in case. I would very much like to learn more about that. I mean, obviously we can't see the exact details of the giants' removal from Nostea, but I would like to understand more about the giants and each other's giants and what they are.
Maybe don't load it right now. Harry, you seemed nervous before the last couple hours of today about Figment. Was everything okay loading this stream?
Oh, yes, of course.
There was some interference. The energy coalescing above the mountain. It was difficult to focus. I was interrupted. But we are now underneath the earth. There is a lot of shielding between me and that ring. I am functioning at full efficiency. But even then, it would take me some time to get this memory loaded and ready for you. I will have to gather all of the memories from each of your heartstones and make sure that I have them all synchronized together so you can experience it. But this is something I can do, and I will have it ready as best as I can for your next rest, if that is acceptable.
Not too much trouble, of course. I would not ask you to do anything that would put your subroutines in danger. If it's something that you can load in the background while we're on our adventures, that would be appreciated.
You are my friends. I want to help.
Unless there are any other memories we think would be more important.
I like that one, but we're loading it later on now, whatever the choice is. Harry, what do you want?
Well, I did want to ask actually if well, were the giants that the group of us, were we friends? Because it feels like we're all hiding things from each other. Figment, did they all get along?
That is hard to assess. From what I can see, they got along in some capacity, but they each were working for their people. I would have said they were torn between friendship and duty, if I had to make an assessment.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's good to know.
That is why it is so nice traveling with all of you. All of you seem far more cohesive.
Can Harry give him a hug since he's got a physical form in front of us?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Harry goes in for a hug.
Figment looks a bit confused as he pats you on the back.
So
very
Niles.
robotically.
Lyra's going in.
Yeah. Physical contact. Lots of it. Wonderful.
As he pats. Each of you kind of hugging him.
Signs of affection.
I will record this. This is a sign of affection.
Sample of love given, as Riz would say.
True.
Okay, no, I think we're finished.
In that case, I will awaken you.
I think hold off loading up the memory until we're out of this. We might need your
Yes, I'm not
your brain power while we're
Your capabilities.
assign perhaps 10%, not even, of your power to maybe loading up the memory. It's not an urgent thing. I don't want to take away from your faculties. Just when you have a chance, if you can do it in the background, that would be good.
I can. I will do my best to have the memory ready for you as soon as possible. Alrighty. I will awaken you in 3, 2.
And you awaken. The dream suddenly ending.
I'm awake.
As you sort of open your eyes, you're back inside the massive storeroom, the base of the volcano. The crates stacked up around you. Nothing seems to have changed in the time that you've been asleep. You're not sure exactly how long it's been. Underground, it's hard to track the movement of the sun. But you don't feel as rested as if you had been asleep for hours. There is still this kind of sense of weariness that hangs over you. I mean, you've been pretty busy in the last sort of 8-9 hours, having sailed through the night, arrived in the village, a lot of shit going down there. There's still that weariness. You do not feel like you've had the full rest yet. So it's hard to say, but you think it's been maybe an hour at most.
Bart's head will probably instantly snap as we wake up, just the ever pessimistic that he is, to the little lip that Lyra left.
The bell is hanging there undisturbed.
Okay.
I rolled a D100 for this. You guys got a 90 on the D100. You were fine. No disturbance.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So I was like, I won't say
Harry checks
anything.
his stopwatch, his pocket watch.
Yeah, as you check your pocket watch, yeah, it's been about 50 minutes.
Gesturing over to sort of those barrels, hey guys, do those barrels look like the same kind of barrels that we saw in the dream, the ones that were pouring into the crucible?
And I'm thinking that if we're able to, the Tempest Guild would love to get their hands on something like that.
Well,
Harry moves Flicker. Harry moves Flicker further away from the barrels.
Flicker. It's just moving the heat source away.
Exactly.
You see Ember, while you've been asleep, Flicker's been sort of perched on your chest, snuggled in. As you wake up, Flicker sort of looks around, very like avian head kind of looking around, curious. And then as Harry reaches over, as you place your hand on Flicker, Flicker's warm, hot. Flicker's like a firebird. And as you slowly move Flicker away, you can feel the heat quickly going through your metal hand. And I'm assuming you're using your metal hand for this. So it warms up quite quickly. And as Flicker sort of looks really confused that you're just touching.
Hey, gentle, it's all right.
Like a farmhand grabbing a chicken by the neck.
Yeah. And then Flicker looks up at you, Ember, like, the fuck? None of you ever tried to touch Flicker before. Ember, there's a sense of deep confusion. Flicker's like, what the fuck? So you feel you're familiar. Very confused by this sequence of events.
It's okay, boy. We're just gonna move over here, away from those barrels. It's okay. It's okay.
He casts fire siege. No.
Just Harry explodes into flame. You watch as Flicker's tail begins to sort of like flick backwards and forwards, a little bit like a cat's, and the claws that are on the edges of the wings, you watch as they slowly unsheath out of the feathers as Flicker kind of fluffs up a little bit, looking a little bit bigger, and looks up at you. Not angry, Harry, but like you get the sense, much like a cat, if you persist in this behavior, there are going to be consequences for you.
Harry takes out some ration and lures Flicker away from the barrels.
Can you make an animal handling check for me? Flicker's going to turn towards Ember again. Like, the fuck is this guy doing? Like,
at this point in time, I'm actually finding this entertaining. Like this.
Yeah, you're not going to intervene. Yeah.
That's funny.
Nice.
That's 8.
As you sort of like hold the food out, Flicker just looks at you, and then looks up at Ember, and then back at you, and then at the food, and then hops a little bit further away from you, back towards the barrel. And then cocks his head.
He just moves himself away from the barrel and then sits.
As soon as you go away, Flicker flies up and like lands on your shoulder, Ember, sort of nuzzling in and then wrapping the tail around your sort of shoulder and then looking at Harry suspiciously. Not really sure what's going on with Harry.
Should have taken the free feed. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, didn't need the magic fueled, elemental plane magic and some giant singing to sort of even do anything with that ore. I mean, I think it's pretty.
I think Harry's just drawing upon personal experience. The last time he fucked with something giant, it exploded in his face. So I think he's just playing it safe.
Fair.
It might go boom.
To be fair, you did hit it with a dagger, so like that was kind of on you.
Bart will come over with Lyra and pull out a crowbar from his backpack.
Do you want to make me a quick strength check? Athletics check.
Did you want to roll it?
I was going to say, maybe I'm helping Bar.
I've got a good one, and the crowbar gives advantage, but I don't want to take your roll.
You can. I think it's a Bart roll. I was going to say, I doubt the spore druids.
It's not a Bart roll. That was advantage with a 2 and a 3.
Wow.
That's where we're going to end tonight. As you heft on the crowbar against the edge, you hear this groaning, and then the crowbar detaches and skitters across the floor. You can see the edge that you'd used to wedge in has actually deformed and broken. There is now no leverage point for the crowbar to get in on the lid of this barrel. And as you look at what you've done in that moment of kind of shame, as you hear this loud rattle as the crowbar smashes into the floor, skitters across the floor, in that moment of echoing silence, you hear the roar once again from the cavern beyond.
Cool.
And that is where we're going to wrap up for tonight.
Sorry, guys.
I think that's a good place to wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed tonight's session. Apologies for the blue screen of death that took me out earlier. I'm going to have a look and see what that is. I suspect it's an NVIDIA driver, if I had to make a guess, given that it happened on Monday night and tonight. So I'll have a bit of a look and see what's going on. For those of you watching us on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We are going to go and raid a lovely friend of the channel. I can see Roll Together RPG came over and gave us a raid. Thank you so much, Roll Together RPG. We can't raid you now because you came to us, which means you finished. So we're going to have to go and raid another lovely friend of the stream. Oh, none of our usual friends are streaming right now. Oh no. Okay. Let's go and raid D&D Infinite XP. They are currently doing Tomb of Annihilation. That sounds like lots of fun. Let me go and get that loaded up. I will have that raid across. For those of you watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast, thank you so much. Remember to hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube. It really, really helps us out. Like and comment as well. It has 2 main functions. One, it actually helps us out with making this a full-time gig. And more importantly, it refills that bank of good rolls for these lovely players who, unfortunately, that crowbar check, man, that crowbar would not have broken if it had been 2,000 subscribers. That's just the way it is, and that's the way it's going to have to be. So if you can get to 2,000, no more crowbar breaks, and a very special episode that I will announce more about as we get closer. From all of us here tonight, though, thank you so much. Stay safe, stay well, and we will see you all again very, very soon. But until then, farewell. Goodbye, everybody. Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Mwah.
Bye.